All right, here we go. We still haven't named it. We still haven't renamed it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit! Oh fuck! I missed it. I missed it. Oh. On this episode of Punks Talk Wrestling, we have the debut of Christian. We have several questionable storylines that just hold up. No.
They just hold up.
One more time. On this episode of Punks Talk Wrestling, we have the WWF debut of Christian. We have several questionable storylines that just don't hold up over time, and we see a young and goateed Micheal Cole as we give you our review of Judgment Day in Your House 1998. I am RW Hellborn, one half of your Punks Talk Wrestling tag team hosts, hailing quote-unquote from Philly, and always virtually by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England. He is my tag team podcast partner. He has zero things in common with Ken Shamrock, the proper prick, CJ Newman!
Did you know the European Championship only lasted for about 5 years? Came into effect? What would you say? It was a thing. February 26th, 1997.
Inaugurated? Was inaugurated?
Inaugurate, that's a good word. Yes. I like that word. It was inaugurated on February 26th, 1997, and it disappeared out of existence on July 22nd, 2002.
I'll be honest, that 5 years sounds longer than I remember.
Oh, I'm not done.
Okay.
Who were the very first 4 European champions? You got 1 minute. Go.
Oh, well, their very first one was British Bulldog.
Yep.
That was number 1. Triple H.
He's one of them. He was the
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
He was the third.
He was the third. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, he was the second.
And then...
So after Triple H.
After Triple H... Oh, right, because Triple H won it because Shawn Michaels did the Finger of Doom.
Laid down.
Right?
Yep.
Or whatever, he laid down for it. Triple H lost it.
Triple H.
Oh, man, did he?
It was intense.
Oh, was it this was quite soon after that. Was it D'Lo that beat him?
It wasn't D'Lo. D'Lo was the one after that, though. So.
Oh, fuck. Oh, man, who was before D'Lo with it? European X-Pac?
No.
Did X-Pac? No.
You got 3
X-Pac
seconds.
After
2, 1.
Oh, man. That was the closest I've ever been.
That really is. Yeah. So, British Bulldog. Shawn Michaels won that back. Won it back. Shawn Michaels beat British Bulldog.
Uh-huh.
And then you had Triple H beat Shawn Michaels, which when he obviously laid down for him on Raw.
Yeah, because Shawn Michaels couldn't be both. That was when Shawn Michaels won
the World Heavyweight Championship.
The World Heavyweight Champion, and for whatever reason, oh, that was right. They enacted the fact that he hadn't defended it.
Yeah,
right.
And then Sergeant Slaughter forced him to face they forced them to face each other.
Yeah,
and then,
as a penalty. So then
Shawn just laid on the floor and outsmarted him basically.
Yeah.
And then
brilliant.
Owen Hart beat Triple H.
Oh, there it was. Okay, yeah. I totally forgot that Owen Hart had a European title.
Yeah.
Man, that was probably the closest I got to accurately naming all of those things in a minute.
Owen Hart defeated the artist formerly known as Goldust, who was dressed as Triple H. Commissioner Slaughter awarded the title to Hart, considering Goldust was a substitution for Triple H. WWE recognizes Hart's reign as the beginning on January 22nd when the episode. Oh, whatever. But yeah, so he pinned. So Triple H was the champion, but he pinned Goldust, who was dressed as Triple H.
There you go. Oh, that was great, man. That was a good one.
There you go. Yeah. I wanted to get to something real quick before we delve deep into this pay-per-view here. Because last week we watched obviously current modern day Survivor Series from a week ago with return of Punk and Orton and everything. R-Truth. And now I mentioned in that episode that obviously I was watching with my girlfriend and she'd never watched wrestling before. Now I wanted to bring up the subject of showing anyone wrestling for the first time. Someone who's like obviously aware of what wrestling. Now I always think that people have this perception of what wrestling is.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, certainly.
And generally it's either one of two things. It's going to be it's going to be this 80s kind of look where it's just massive, like heavily tanned, roided up guys. Or their other perception is that it's of that kind of 90s era where it's kind of like a bit crude, right? That's the two perceptions I think people seem to have is it's going to be one of those two. They just have it in their head that that's what professional wrestling is.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, at that, it had a boom. It had its other boom. I mean,
yeah, so I guess people base it off of the commonly known booms that wrestling had, right?
Yeah. If you didn't watch WWF, WWE at the, you'd probably only know about Stone Cold Steve Austin,
right?
Maybe the Rock,
yeah.
Possibly Mankind, but even that, like Mankind wasn't even, people outside of wrestling, they might have known 3 or 4 names. People in that time, people were still. When Stone Cold was coming up, people still were thinking Hulk Hogan and
in
Andre the Giant.
In my eyes, I could literally name all of the household wrestling names right now.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Austin, Rock, John Cena, and now Roman Reigns is getting into that field too.
And I would throw Randy Savage in there only because
Savage and possibly
he was
Randy Orton too. Actually,
I mean Randy
because the RKO out of nowhere has become a meme. So getting to my actual point,
which we're gonna try.
So, people have that perception, right? So you go like, no, because whenever I go like, it happens less now. Like, when I was younger, it's like to tell people I watch wrestling was like almost like a taboo thing. Now I'm like, I watch professional wrestling. Check out my vast collection of wrestling T-shirts. Like, I don't care, but. I think the mistake that people make and what turns people off is especially when you've got longtime fans like me and you, right? Some people will go like, for example, they'll have the rose-tinted glasses on and they will think about Judgment Day 1998. And you'll think, that was such a good pay-per-view. I remember watching that with my friends back in 98, right? Now, you would go, all right, come over, man. I'm going to show you wrestling, man. I guarantee you're going to like it. And you stick on Judgment Day 98 and your friend's going to laugh at you. Because it's hokey at times. I think, now the thing is, if in January 1999 you had the same conversation, I would then go and show my friend Judgment Day 1998. Because that in context of that decade was what the best wrestling could be, right?
Yeah.
I think no matter if you have a friend that wants to, or someone that you want to show wrestling to for the first time, or show them what wrestling's all about, the best thing you can do is show them the modern day product.
Oh, of course.
I think that's just the way forward. Like I said the other, to you last week, I think off recording, but I said I was going to show. The WrestleMania main event from last year, because I think that's it's a good story going into it, and it's a perfect show of like what a modern day match could be like. It's a perfect show of like how grand and over the top WrestleMania can be. It's wrestling at its finest. It's wrestling at its absolute peak. Is the main event of WrestleMania, and I think alternatively, show them an episode of Raw or SmackDown. I think is the best way of going into it too. So these are my musings that I've had during this week. I just thought I'd share them. How about right now? Let's freaking get into this pay-per-view because. Well, hold on. Whoa, hold your damn horses.
Whoa. Okay,
what the hell's your
back
problem
it up.
here? Back it up.
Hold on.
Have you got gum?
Shit. Oh man. Boot, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. This could have been a disaster. Hold on 1 second.
I mean, it's been a good run. This could have been the end of it all.
Every week I move it, and then I don't know where I moved it to because
If you're not aware, like. If Ralph does not have gum before we start an episode, there may as well not be an episode because it's okay. I haven't got a good reason. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God!
Okay. What
averted disaster once again.
What gum is it?
Oh no! Oh, it is still. It is still the classic Icebreakers Ice Cube Cinnamon. Yeah, okay. Until I completely lose it.
Is that minty or?
It's it's a cinnamon. It's basically like it's not as overpoweringly cinnamon as like a Big Red would be.
Yeah.
It's pretty middle ground, middle tier as far as the flavor. But I do love that the Icebreakers gum tends to retain its flavor a little longer.
Okay.
It doesn't hit you like right off the bat and be
that's
like,
good.
Bam, here's all the flavor, and then 10 minutes later. Whew.
All right. Now that we're everything's as it should be.
Well, we do have one more important thing to get to.
We do?
To handle. Yes, we do.
What's that? Oh, is that what I think I heard?
That is what you think you heard. It is the official seltzer of Punks Talk Wrestling.
It is official.
Generic raspberry lime seltzer.
Where's that from, Giant?
It is from Giant. Yes, it is from the Giant down the road. So, if you have a Giant grocery store near you, or any grocery store that sells generic seltzer, you can probably find a generic raspberry lime.
As us in the UK would say, pop to the shops and get yourself. Pop to the shops. Yeah, pop to the shops. That's what we say.
There you go. Pop to the shops and get yourself some generic.
Do it in a British accent. You can't just do it. You can't just do it like that.
I can't. Hold on. Pop to the shops and get yourselves some generic raspberry lime, mate. Matey. Oh wait, that's Australian.
No, we do say mate, but
you do say mate. Oh, that's right, because Australian.
There's
really
a difference though.
Is it?
Yeah, we don't say matey though. Oh, I guess we can. We do, but not. I mean, mate. Yeah. That's confusing. Like, we do say mate, but like they say. I think they say mate more than we do.
I think Australians use it more as
it's more of a stereotypical thing for them. Here we go.
Whew, yes, let's get it. Let's actually get into this.
So this week we are covering Judgment Day in Your House, which was I'm going to try that. Start that again. Judgment Day in Your House, the 25th in Your House, and the inaugural Judgment Day, mind you. So the first ever Judgment Day. I think it's a pay-per-view that lasted for about 10 years, but I'll have to look into that because I'm not too sure. 2009. 2009 was the very final one. So I was right. Almost 10 years. So just over 10 years. Actually, it was 10 years because they didn't do one in 1999. So I was right.
We're always right. Even
always
if we're
right. So it was held from the Rosemont Horizon, which is...
We are back. Yeah, we're once again back in Rosemont, Illinois.
Yeah.
Whew, but the crowd looks a lot different 24 years ago.
Yeah. Similar layout though, as in the very like a small like entranceway, just like at this year's Survivor Series, they could fit in as much people as they could.
Yeah.
So the attendance for Judgment Day was 18,153, which is a huge attendance.
That's actually more, and that's more about 1,000 more than we had for War Games.
Yeah, exactly. War Games.
The attendance was 17,138.
But hey, I guess you could say the entranceway was slightly bigger, and you had 2 rings. So
that is true. They did have to accommodate a much larger entranceway and an additional ring.
Yeah.
So that should make up for it. Interestingly, the Wikipedia page also was showing a buy rate for these, which they don't always have.
So I think maybe it's as they get more modern, because we've been doing a lot of older pay-per-views recently. So
yeah,
305,000 buy rate. I've no idea if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the time.
Yeah, kind of hard to know.
Yeah.
Without doing more research that we're not going to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
If someone else knows, by all means, anyone that knows about buy rates of the
let us know.
If you know what a good buy rate from 1998 would be, sound off in the comments wherever you have comments that you can sound off in on our pages.
So, I mean, getting straight into this pay-per-view, the first thing that resonates with me so deeply, so deeply, is the WWF trademark at the start of the show. As we know it now, they're now forever together. But the whatever that is at the start of the paper, like that is so iconic. I love that damn trademark. It hits deep in my soul every time I see it. It was always like it's so building up. It's like a pressure cooker, man. It's like whoa, here we go, kind of thing.
Yeah, we had we had good old JR and Jerry Lawler on commentators.
Yep.
On commentary. Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Savinovich as the Spanish commentators. A young Micheal Cole.
Oh yeah, we saw him a few times in the night. That was great.
As well as good old Howard Finkel.
Oh man,
the very first employee of WWF.
And a who's who of referees right here, man. Jeez.
Holy shit, yeah. We got good old Tim White. We got Earl Hebner. We got Jim Corderas. Bruce Pritchard, which I don't remember.
Yeah?
He's listed as one of the referees.
No,
I don't really remember.
Wasn't. No, I don't give a damn. He was not a referee at this pay-per-view.
I did not see. Well, see, I didn't see him either. He might have been. Maybe he was a referee during Sunday Night Heat.
Maybe.
Which we didn't.
Also,
we also didn't
I feel
watch
like they're missing out, unless I'm getting myself mixed up with Raw. But I'm pretty sure. My God, his name, Mike Chioda. I'm pretty sure Mike Chioda was a referee in one of these matches.
Yeah, so this might be. We may need someone to go in and properly edit this Wikipedia.
Yeah,
page.
This is not correct.
Yeah.
Anyway,
according to Wikipedia, support Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Donate if you can.
And update things if you can too. Because
if you know something that is wrong, make it right.
And that goes for anything in life, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. That's not just a lesson on updating the internet but properly, or that is a life lesson here. If you see something that's wrong, make it right.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that we did wrong, then don't fucking talk about it.
There probably isn't wrong. It's just how it was meant to be.
Yeah, you're probably misinterpreting it.
Exactly. So this let's just start with the first match, and actually, let's start
because the sooner we start, the sooner we.
Actually, no, it starts off all right. Actually, I actually quite, Al Snow and Mark Mero. Nothing that really happened here was bad. It was. I love Al Snow. I love this gimmick. I think he did so good in this role, like this gimmick.
He was really good. I'll say this: Al Snow. Individuals were doing some good work, and a lot of the matches were good or decent matches.
Yeah.
There was nothing like, you didn't see a lot of, there wasn't just like botched spots and just like, oh, this is dull. Like we didn't hear any boring
no
chants
boring chants or nothing. One thing I did overall, I will say for the overall wrestling quality of this and 1998, I guess, is that I did notice that like the crowd generally. Honestly, the crowd weren't really paying much attention to the match until the very end of the matches.
Yeah, the crowd
they
was
were there for the moments, not for the matches. It seems.
The crowd was. This is what I'll tell you. Yeah, before we get Al Snow versus Mark Mao, it was a good match.
It was fine.
It was good. It was fine.
I forgot that Al Snow's finishing move was called Snowplow, and when I heard that, I was like, "That's fucking brilliant." So
DOA.
So we got Disciples of the Apocalypse with 8-Ball Skull and Paul Ellering, who's looking jacked as all hell.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I really don't remember much about Paul Ellering being a part of this, but now that he's there, I get it, because he had a big, he had connections with the Road Warriors, of course.
He used to be their manager and everything like that. So obviously now we've got LOD 2000, which is Animal, Droz, and Hawk.
Yeah, what another storyline.
The storyline that they were doing with Animal here is just fucking awful stuff.
Yeah, if you don't know about it, this was, he was legitimately dealing with
drug and alcohol
abuse.
addictions. Yeah.
And so they just made that part of the angle and essentially aired all of his dirty laundry, put him in, gave him regular old, like they gave him like the John Cena Hollywood haircuts, like just regular old office dad cuts, which just made him look even more sad and pathetic. Like,
do you remember how they ended that storyline?
Oh yeah, they ended the storyline with Droz pushing Hawk off of the Titantron, killing him.
Yeah,
committing homicide.
Because Hawk was threatening to commit suicide.
He was gonna. It's just so tasteless. And this is the era where they were trying to be as shocking as possible,
as edgy as possible. Yeah,
edgy and shocking, and I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't even a great match.
No,
the match wasn't good. It was obvious that they did not really want to be a part of this angle, and they were kind of just stuck doing their job.
They were phoning that in, and LOD. I mean, clearly Hawk was not even in a good place personally, anyway. So he didn't even want to probably be there at all. Just awful.
Yeah. The only note I really had on that, aside from the storyline being horrible, is that the last time I saw Paul Ellering was when he got beat up by the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
And then the Authors of Pain just kind of disappeared after they had like a 2-week run where they were Seth Rollins heavy for a minute, and then just disappeared. I don't know what happened. I think
apparently,
one of them
from what I've heard, is that they have quietly signed a new contract with the WWE.
Really?
And I don't know how true it is, but that's what I have heard. So
that would be amazing, because I thought
I think there's a lot of potential with those guys.
Well, yeah, and for what I recall, what happened was one of the two got injured and was like, we don't know, we don't have anything for one of you.
Yeah.
We only have something for both of you. And they just kind of went away quietly. But I would be awesome to see them back. There is a lot of the tag team division, as you could see on this week's episode of Raw, was
and last week with the tag team turmoil match as well.
Dude, the tag team division right now it's nice to see they're doing that cycle of shifting things to make other things important while other things are taking a little bit of a back burner. Prepare for a lot of good tag team division stuff.
Yeah, they're giving a lot of time to tag teams lately, and actually, they're giving a lot of time to the women's tag team division as well. Come to think of it,
they're trying. They're really
trying, and I'm glad they are, because I mean, I feel like they haven't really given it a good go, and I feel like Triple H is now giving it a good go. But yeah, so LOD 2000 get the win. Good for them.
Yeah. Yes.
The next match, one of my favorites of the night. Actually, it was a pretty harmless. Oh, one really quick fact: this Paul Ellering appearance was the very last Paul Ellering pay-per-view appearance until he appeared in NXT with Authors of Pain. So,
okay, well, there you go. There's more of that connection. Maybe we'll see him back again. I don't know. Is Paul Ellering still alive?
He's still alive.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, he is, although he is 70 years old, so there's that. So, yeah, we had Christian versus Taka Michinoku for the Light Heavyweight Championship. This is Christian's debut, mind you.
Yeah.
Christian's debut match here.
Yeah. Christian,
straight
who
away
was
going for a
Edge's
championship.
younger brother.
Edge's younger brother, that's right, yeah. I really like this match. It was a change of pace from everything we've seen so far. They definitely did. I feel like they were definitely trying to go for. I mean, at this time, like the hurricanranas and splashes to the outside, and like suicide dives that Taka Michinoku were doing to the outside.
Yeah.
Like,
my god, dude! That thing.
Oh yeah,
that was just a straight flip from the outside flat onto the concrete floor.
Right?
The pad, but there was no buffer for him.
Not at all. Not at all.
Fuck, man. That look. I mean, that hurts. That hurts me still just thinking about it. But you're right. They were. When they introduced the light heavyweight championship, that was their way of combating WCW's cruiserweight.
Yeah.
At this time, there was obviously a desire for some of this, and like you said, they showed a different style.
Yeah,
of
I mean,
wrestling.
if you got to kind of thank WCW for this, because WCW were putting a lot of focus onto cruiserweights at this time, with Ray and Juventud Guerrera and things like that. So this was WWE. Honestly, never really caught up to that. I think that's one thing WCW did pip them out on, is that they had a much better cruiserweight division, and always did through the whole Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, WWE has always struggled with that. Even when they reintroduced the cruiserweight division all that stuff,
it fell flat again. And I will say, why. I think Vince just doesn't like cruiserweights.
Yeah,
really.
I think that's really what it was, because you also saw that he didn't take the time to give them better storylines.
No.
People didn't. Which this was one of the few things that had a storyline attached. The Christian Edge's younger brother aligning himself with Gangrel, who I guess apparently had a falling out with Edge at that time. I don't know if they mention anything about.
Yeah,
this
that was kind of weird. I don't. It seems like Christian had attacked Edge. But I'm pretty sure they stayed. Well, they did stay together. Actually, I'm not sure what happened there, but. Yeah, it seems like there was some rift there, but obviously Edge was sitting in the crowd, being brooding and emo.
But I mean, big props to Christian for a title victory on his debut.
Mind you, by the way, Christian here is 24 years old, and Taka Michinoku is 25 years old. Both super young in this match.
Yeah. Taka's still going. They're both still going.
Yeah, Taka Michinoku's in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and obviously Christian's in AEW as the TNT champion right now. They're both going strong in their 50s at this point. So late 40s, 50s. The crowd went crazy for this fucking title change, by the way.
Yeah, they were into the first time.
This match. The first time, actually, the first match this night that they were really into.
Yeah. What else could I say? I mean, that's probably of all the matches that happened this night, that would be probably if you're going to watch one match, this would be the one match to watch from this pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I would say it certainly was the best.
Yeah. I've got two more which are we'll get to that. I'll let you know which ones I think were pretty okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, good match. I enjoyed it. And it didn't have much going into it apart from the fact it was for a light heavyweight championship. It was a bit of a change of pace for the rest of the show, to be honest. So I quite enjoyed that. Definitely had a more modern day feel to it as well, which isn't. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It's just like I guess I'm now used to that style of wrestling. So
yeah, this is definitely.
I felt I was engaged the whole time.
Yeah, yes, you can definitely see guys like Sami Zayn. I mean, even Kevin Owens and stuff, like they were modeled after more of this style.
Yeah. So next match we had Goldust versus Val Venus.
The returning Goldust.
The return, yeah, because he had a little bit of a hiatus there where he was being, well, I guess he was like, what
he
was
he? Being Dustin Reynolds, the born again preacher.
Yeah. From the video package, you saw the video package, right? Fuck Peacock didn't take that out, did they?
Yes, I did. I actually got a little bit of that video package.
Cool. So the video package, yeah. I put ridiculous story, but kind of executed well, actually. Like, that's what I thought. I was like, the story here is kind of dumb, but I actually feel like they've been served a bit of crap on a piece of paper and actually gone like, all right, let's make the best out of this we can.
Yeah, if you want to, I'm like, you can absolutely shit on a storyline where someone's real life wife is now cheating on them with their opponent.
Yeah,
and making videos portraying themselves sleeping together.
Yeah.
It's as cringe as it's gonna be. But at least there was a story that was cohesive and made sense. It totally made sense why Dustin, his character, wanted to do, was the way he was. I'm not sure, I'm not sure how they kind of tied it all back up to like make Goldust come back, only because I'm guessing people just got tired of Dustin Reynolds as a preachy guy and just wanted to see Goldust. So they're like, we got to find a way to get Goldust back. I know, make him go crazy so that he goes back to being this crazy character.
Yeah.
It certainly was better than the LOD 2000 story. It certainly was better than a lot of other stuff. Solid match, honestly, yeah. As far as the match itself goes, it was pretty good. Storyline just wasn't for me.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, it was fine. It was whatever.
It was fine.
It was great to see Goldust have like that Goldust entrance with the confetti and the pyro, and I love Goldust. And his theme, everything about Goldust was great. With his presentation wise, anyway. And that just shows you the level of a competitor, the level of a performer that he actually is. Oh yeah, big time.
It was what it was at the time.
Yeah.
So
and it was huge at the time, to be honest with you.
It was huge. Exactly. It was huge at the time. Goldust got a huge pop.
Yeah, he did.
So,
he really did.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, possibly the second biggest pop of the night. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that. Next up, we had X-Pac and China. We did have X-Pac and China.
Yeah.
Out there with China, who gave me proper Rhea Ripley and Dominic vibes, big time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Up against D'Lo Brown here.
Yeah.
For the
I love D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
D'Lo Brown was great
for the European Championship, and this was another match that I liked. I thought this is a good match.
Yeah, this was a solid match.
Yeah.
Told a good story. There was
two really fucking good workers.
A bit of shenanigans. A very proper amount of shenanigans. This was definitely during this was also during the hot potato era of titles. With the European title is changing hands quite rapidly. I mean, X-Pac won it back, but he lost it to D'Lo Brown like 2 weeks ago. And then won it back again. Like, so there was people were hot potato.
Attitude Era was terrible for the hot potato in championships. They were traded like nothing.
I did love the fact that anytime D'Lo came out, he was now residing in Milan, Italy, as the European champion. So little bits like that, I always give a little extra. That's a nice bit of coriander.
Yeah, a little bit of garnish, coriander on that. It was good. I mean, there were going along with this at the time was Mark Henry putting in a sexual assault charge against China.
Yes, which we did see. She got arrested for
on the
next
Raw
night
after.
on Raw. Which,
yeah.
Again, this is got to be some Vince Russo shit.
The fact that they're making storylines out of sexual harassment is fucking
brutally. It's just brutally bad Attitude Era shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, it is what it is. It's over.
Yeah,
that shit's. Thank God that era is gone.
Yeah, but yeah, we actually the ending of this match was very cool. It was like a jump off the ropes into an X Factor, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I thought the match itself was pretty damn good.
And I forgot how much D'Lo Brown was hated. Like, people really didn't fucking like D'Lo Brown. He was getting booed out of that fucking building.
Oh yeah, he was getting some nuclear heat for he was wearing that chest protector at the time that was, padded, like they claimed it was padded with a steel plate in it or something. All sorts of shit.
Yeah, he wore that thing for years. Oh yeah,
I don't think he stopped wearing it. It became part, like, that chest pad thing is like part of his perpetual gimmick now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Good for him though.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of D'Lo Brown's work.
Oh, he's great. Then we go to a little backstage segment with the Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers.
Oh yeah, I made a note about this promo.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
It is bad. It's terrible.
The match was okay. It was one of these matches again where I'd feel like the crowd just didn't give a fuck. Like, I thought there was actually some really decent wrestling in this match, but the crowd just didn't engage. Like, there were actually some really good moves. There were really good moments. You could tell that they actually put some effort in here, and the crowd just didn't care. And I feel like I've watched this. I watched the Raw the night after, which is a completely different city. And it just seems like the people back then that went to these shows were there for the moments and not for the matches. They just didn't give it. And I think back then as well, like, that's how wrestling was written. It was all about the moments and not the matches. Whereas I think now we've got a good balance between the two. I think it's moments and matches. So I think they've figured out a good balance here in the modern day.
Because when you take the time to work out and give them time, give these storylines time to work themselves out, instead of just shoving, there was a lot of it also felt like there was a lot of just shoving people together for reasons. I mean, going back and looking at it, I mean, just as we're talking through it, there were reasons why they were fighting, but the reasons weren't really flushed. They weren't always flushed out.
Yeah. The two things. Road Dogg, I think I've mentioned this before, but for some reason, Road Dogg was one of my favorite wrestlers when I was younger. I fucking loved him. No idea why, just loved him. And obviously, when I was watching this pay-per-view and they came out and doing, the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, of all ages, I was obviously doing it along with them.
Yes,
the other day,
exactly.
And I was so pissed when it got interrupted.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that's someone who understood his gimmick and could get the audience to participate.
Yeah,
that's
big time.
Of course you want to feel a part of that thing that everybody is doing.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, like, during the match as well, there were people in the crowd, like, doing it and and everyone was doing it with them, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like, as a tag team, you got to think they were, well, I think of the late 90s, they were the most over tag team by a fucking country mile. Like,
yes,
the New Age Outlaws were so over, incredibly over.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. This match ends with a boombox to the head, of which he smacked him so fucking hard over the head with that boombox.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they really weren't quite as safe with the headshots back then either.
Nope, not at all. In case you're wondering, Mosh Still wrestles occasionally. In fact, his last match was on September 9th, 2023.
Okay.
Actually, he did team with Thrasher, but it seems like Thrasher doesn't wrestle as much anymore. He mainly retired from pro wrestling in 2002, and currently is the area supervisor for a Papa John's in Dayton Beach, Florida.
Okay. Well, there we go.
So there's that.
There it is. There's that.
Another thing I thought was really
nothing
weird,
wrong with that. Papa John's makes great pizza.
Yeah,
Shaq,
not in the UK
Shaq
though.
tells me
We've
all the
spoken
time.
about this before. Papa John's in the UK is absolute shit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I think
curious.
I think Domino's is probably our best over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big
takeaway
fan.
pizza anyway.
Yeah, I am still a fan of Domino's Pizza. We get it almost regularly when we watch wrestling. It's been a staple of my Domino's Pizza is ingrained into my wrestling watching.
When I'm over and we inevitably watch wrestling, I mean, there's a lot of shit to watch while I'm there. We'll definitely have to get Domino's because I don't think I've ever had American Domino's. Oh, I haven't had American Domino's.
Well, night one of SmackDown and night one of WrestleMania. You know, since we're not going to be in attendance for night one, we will only be in attendance for night two.
Yeah.
We'll certainly get some.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So obviously they the New Age Outlaws get disqualified here, and the fucking weirdest thing I thought is when the New Age Outlaw, the Headbangers are announced as the winners of the match. They get really happy, and I'm like, you didn't win the tag team titles.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you happy? You didn't win the tag titles, and you got hit over the head with a fucking boombox. Why are you happy about this? But yeah, they seemingly were. So
yeah, because they don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see them. I did see when I caught the amount that I could tolerate of the Raw after this. They came back out, and I guess they wanted to challenge them again because they technically won and they were DQ'd. But they were carrying like the fake foam replica belts.
Yeah.
At one point,
yeah, they were. Yeah,
as if like that. That was cute. I guess help to sell some merch.
Oh wow! I'm gonna spat my drink out there. I didn't expect the cute comment.
Yeah.
But yeah. My next note in capitals is young Micheal Cole because this
young Micheal Cole.
There he is, sporting a little goatee here.
Yeah,
goatee number.
It's the best. There's a post that pops up on my Facebook memories. I don't remember when, but I posted. I don't know what it was, but years ago I posted a picture of young Micheal Cole. So it pops up every year at some point, and it makes my day when you just see him with that little goatee.
Once a year, young Micheal Cole Day.
Yeah, it was once he had become. He was already he was a ring announcer, or not a ring announcer. He was a commentary. He was on commentary already at this point.
Is it
goatee?
Is it soul patch? Because for a period there he had a soul patch, just a soul patch.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'll have to dig. I'll see if I dig it up. We can.
What a fucking look.
We'll.
So we got Micheal Cole.
The top 10 list of Micheal Cole's facial hair.
Facial hair, yeah. Yeah, that could be a little Instagram number. I'm actually. I'm going to work on that.
Micheal Cole's facial hair through the ages.
So we had Micheal Cole doing a little interview with Mankind backstage. What have I written there? Doesn't it make any sense? I put Mick Foley is so damn good. Oh, I get it. I put Mick Foley is so damn good with the promise.
Well, so damn good with the promise?
Yeah, it's meant to say Mick Foley is so damn good with promos.
With promos?
Yeah, with promos, not the promise.
Yeah, I mean, this was...
He's so good, man.
Yeah, so what we touched on, we touched on it momentarily at the beginning of this, but this was an iconic era for revitalization of Mankind's character too, where he introduced Mr. Sacco just a week ago,
weeks before this,
weeks before with Vince and Vince, the lead up to what was going on at this point, and Vince McMahon getting. So this is also what didn't make as much sense. Like the whole. Well, we'll get to we'll get to it when we get to the main event.
Yeah.
But Mick Foley and the invention, the creation of Socko was just that was good shit. Yeah. That was real good shit. And of course, we talked about this. We talked about this when we reviewed Fall Brawl with the Cactus Jack promo. Like, he has been Mick Foley, the man, just understands the professional wrestling business better
time,
than
man.
so many.
He's just so damn good.
Yeah.
He's up there. I'd actually say, I'd actually say that he's probably up in my top 10, I think. The more I see him, the more I see him, he's one guy I can watch really old footage of and go, like, you've always had it. You've always understood this. Like, there's never been a part of your career where you've not understood this. And, like,
and
just goes all in every time.
And even when he gets into the more hardcore angles and everything, it still has meaning.
Yeah.
To a degree, like, it's not just brutality for the sake of brutality.
Yeah.
Part of his whole persona was that mankind can withstand unnatural amounts of punishment.
Yeah.
And it's really just that Mick Foley himself is willing to put himself through these things. I don't know any other wrestlers who lost an ear during a match and continued the match.
Well, think about it. Like, that famous Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker was literally 4 months before this pay-per-view. Like, my man's still wrestling after being thrown off a cell twice.
Yeah, so much had been going on at this time period.
Yeah, big time.
That is now considered iconic, and but for right now he's facing Ken Shamrock for the Intercontinental Championship, and I kind of forgot this happened.
Yeah, kind of crazy here that Ken Shamrock in this match is 34 years old, which is the same age as I am currently, and
Holy
that fucking
shit.
blows my mind because I don't look like him. So
no, you certainly don't.
How the fuck is he 34?
You don't look nearly as psychotic.
No,
he doesn't have a goatee, and he's not British.
Yeah, I don't have a goatee.
No, that's where. What's that?
I don't have a goatee.
Well, I mean, he has. Well, no, he doesn't have. Oh, right, you shaved out. You shaved, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I didn't shave. I just have a very standard beard now.
Oh.
I don't know what else to call it.
Why was I thinking for a while? Why was I thinking for a while that you had a longer? Like...
I for a short period of time I had like mutton chops going up into a tash, like handlebars into a mutton chop situation.
Yeah.
I had that for a little while, and then I shaved off and just had a tash for a while. I don't know why I had my Dash and Cody Rhodes era.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know what I was thinking of.
And then I grew out, and then it was like a little bit of a beard with more prominence on the tash. My Hollywood Hulk Hogan era. And then and now it's all just growing out into a beard, basically.
Maybe we need a top
beard.
Maybe we need a top 10 CJ Newman facial hair.
There's a shitload of them too.
CJ Newman facial hair through the years. I think we all have. I think we all probably all two of us.
All two of us, yeah.
But yeah, that's where he doesn't have any facial hair at all, and that's
no,
where
he doesn't. So.
No facial hair, no British accent. That's where the similarities really end.
That's pretty much I absolutely love Mick Foley's theme at this time. I just love this theme song. I think it suits him down to a T. His entrance is great. I love the lighting in the ring is like a window, like a moonlight through a window. Have you noticed that?
I didn't even, I missed that. I didn't even take notice of that.
Yeah, like there's a light that they shine into the ring that's like, it looks like a moonlight shining through a window on a dark night, and it's like it's like a gridded like window frame into the ring.
He was doing that. He was not just for this match.
Oh, he always did that during this era. But I even went from his debut. But I love it. It's just a small
right, because he did the right. It was like the creep. It was kind of like creepy entrance. But then the end. And the end was like the lullaby theme.
Yeah, the lullaby theme at the end, which is one of the only wrestlers to ever have his own like outro music.
Right. He had a different intro and outro.
So good, man. This match, I actually quite enjoyed this match. Like it was pretty. They were going in on each other, and
again, a great match. Great match between these guys.
One thing
they
I didn't understand is how the fuck there was no disqualification for the fucking chair shot to the head.
That I made a note of that too. I'm like, I guess that just
by the way,
didn't matter.
The referee literally pulled the chair out of Mankind's hands before that happened. Obviously meaning I don't want you to use the chair because it's against the rules. And then the chair was used, and it was fine.
And the referees clearly saw it happen.
Yeah, he was there watching it. It just saw it happen.
It just ignore that. Make an asterisk on that rule.
Yeah, but obviously classic Mick Foley just didn't get his fucking hands up. Just let it happen.
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing something about Ken Shamrock was also pretty like there was another. I think it was Ken Shamrock versus The Rock.
It was where he was like, hit me as hard as you fucking can.
Yeah, and he later
hit him straight, like square in the fucking face with it.
Yeah, and it's just like that, I'm pretty sure he literally gave him a concussion and has probably had permanent brain damage from that.
Yeah.
So, don't
I'm glad
that. I'm also glad that era is gone.
Yeah.
Of headshots,
But we got the greatest hits of Mick Foley here with the clothesline over the top rope, the elbow drop from the apron, the mandible claw. He actually, pretty cool in this match, he got rid of Socko so he could do the proper mandible claw, which I thought was really cool.
Yes, and the most entertaining, I think, of everything was the end where he put the mandible claw on himself to make himself pass out so that he wouldn't tap out to the ankle lock. Then Ken Shamrock went even more insane because he was mad that they declared him the winner via the mandible claw. And it's like
they had to make that announcement in order to make that part of the story, but it had to have been tied into something else that happened later or previously because otherwise why or they did it to make sure that the audience saw what happened. But then like
knew what happened.
Wouldn't that be like a no contest because like Ken Shamrock how did Ken Shamrock win if he's not the one that beat Mankind?
Because Mankind passed out, so it's a TKO.
But he knocked himself out.
But I don't think that. But I see again. We're gonna have to clearly define this in our rules episode. We got to make a note of this. That we need a clear definition of why that was allowed. It could have been because Ken Shamrock had a submission hold on him.
Yeah.
But again, this is just one of those weird things that like. How would you rule it? He passed out and he was in the ankle lock. Whether he forced himself to
get knocked out in a match or knock themselves out, and then the match is classed as a no contest. But fuck it. For this purpose here, they were doing it
for this purpose because the storyline demanded it.
Yeah,
because the story and that's it, just like in D&D, just like when you play Dungeons and Dragons and you don't know how to explain, it's because magic.
Yeah, it's because magic, and
it's because magic. It's because the storyline.
And this is because Mankind. That's why.
Because Mankind.
Yeah.
It made for a moment that is now like the only time that's ever happened.
I can never recall the moment that it's ever happened before.
Yeah.
Or since. Going straight.
Then
we have The Rock versus Mark Henry.
Then we have a 5-minute match between the Mark, and I don't know what was going on at this point. Had the Rock had already split from the Nation of Domination,
and obviously he was a heel for a while because he was a bit of a dick to Farouk.
I guess the whole Nation is done because even in the Sunday Night Heat was we had Godfather versus Farouk.
Well, Godfather's the pimp now. The only two people that are friends still is D'Lo and Mark Henry. In fact, they still come out to the Nation theme and Titantron video.
Yeah.
But they weren't, and still the same attires actually. But it seems like they just didn't really know what to do with them, so they just kind of stuck them with the same attires and everything. But
yeah,
for all intents and purposes, like the nation was gone at this point. The Rock was starting to get very popular here. But
and then
1 month after this pay-per-view was Survivor Series, and it's kind of weird. They stunted The Rock's growth as a face because he actually then joined the corporation.
Yeah,
at the month after at Survivor Series, where they did the fake. They did the Montreal Screwjob again, but this time storyline. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that first time was a storyline too.
Oh yeah, if you want to go back and listen to our top 10 heel turns, is it heel turns that we did?
That was it. I think that. Well, I think we claimed that as like a heel. That was above. That was like breaking kayfabe in heel. That's like meta. It's like metagaming in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
it's like
I think it was Vince McMahon turning heel, but
it was
in
Vince
real
McMahon
life
turning
and
heel.
in story. So, but here we have The Rock versus Mark Henry, and
it
was a match.
It was a match. It was basically the bathroom break match before the main event.
I mean, we had
nothing happened.
Mark Henry won because D'Lo Brown held down The Rock's legs, so he couldn't get his feet kick out or anything like that. So
it didn't seem. It really didn't.
Just a match, really.
It just was a match. It didn't seem to. Yeah,
that could have happened on Raw. That could have honestly happened on Raw.
That could have been a Sunday Night Heat. Yeah, that could have been a Heat. But
I guess they had a lot of invested in The Rock here at the time. So it's kind of weird how he went from this match into the pay-per-view after winning the WWF Championship.
True.
Kind of.
And maybe that was the thing. Maybe that was like, I don't know. Maybe the idea was, let's just give you a quick loss to make it seem like you might need help because you're by yourself. I don't know. Also, it was the 12th of 13 matches that night for people in attendance. When you consider the 4 shows from Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
crazy.
A lot of fucking matches.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of. I mean, there are a lot of very short matches, but if you think about it, that's kind of what they were doing when WrestleMania was one night, and they were trying to cram in so much.
Everything in.
Fucking hell! But I'll give you this. The fucking crowd came alive for this main event because these.
Well, of course, this is the reason everybody.
This is the reason everyone. It's like the headline act comes on.
Yeah. And isn't that just to put it in perspective too? We say this all the time, and we'll continue to say it because it's true. The amount of people that were obviously people were there to see Austin, Undertaker, and that's pretty much it. Like some people, people like some other guys, but like that was the draw.
Yeah, big time.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have so many people. Everybody is important in all of these matches.
Exactly.
Yeah. The first match of a pay-per-view is now a PLE. Typically, the first match is usually the second or at most third most important match of the night.
Yep.
Usually it's the second most important match. They start off.
They do. They do it all the time now.
Yeah.
But this
the match.
This Undertaker theme music is, in my opinion, his best theme music he ever had.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah, so after
right?
this, the Ministry, he had his Ministry music, which was great too, but this is just before Ministry, and it's fucking great. This, I don't know what it was, but watching this Undertaker entrance, you have it too, I know you do, but when music and wrestling makes your hair stand up on end?
Oh, yeah.
This entrance gave me a fucking full body chill. I don't know what was going on, but it hit right in the right spot, and I was like, oh my god, like this is fucking cool. Like the way he comes out, he looks cool as fuck. He doesn't even flinch one bit from his pyro, just keeps walking. It's great. Plus, this version of Kane was so fucking cool, like with the whole Kane with the fire on the cages as he was coming out, and oh man, and then Austin as well with his entrance. Oh,
he also this was the beginning of his the voice box gimmick too.
Yeah, it was.
He did use it the next night when he
challenged the Undertaker,
challenged him to a casket match.
Yeah. I mean, those three entrances alone were like, this was like, when I saw these three entrances, I was like, what these three entrances are giving me right now is the rose-tinted glasses version of the Attitude Era that everyone has. These three entrances are like, this is what everyone remembers. This is the cool shit that people remember.
Yeah.
When in fact, those entrances were great. The storyline coming up to this was pretty good, but pretty great as well. But the match wasn't all that good, honestly. Like,
no, the match was honestly a giant mess.
Honestly, yeah, really.
Nobody cared about whether the Undertaker or Kane won. They just wanted to see Stone Cold be Stone Cold, and that was
they just wanted to see what Stone Cold was going to do. Honestly, at this time. And fuck it, it worked, right? But at this time, every week on Raw, it was like, what's Austin going to get up to this week? It was he was the main character of Raw, and you don't have that anymore. But he was the main character of Raw, and it was just like, how is he going to get himself out of this situation? You know?
Yeah.
It was, obviously it was a classic Attitude Era ending of a match with. We've got, Paul Bearer coming out, turning on Kane, aligning with the Undertaker, and then
and I made a note of that. He was he was already starting to look really bad. I know he had really bad issues with his health and weight.
Yeah.
At the end there, but
screwy finish, and then obviously Austin does a weird thing here where he just taps the mat with both hands when they're both on the floor. And just declares himself the winner.
Yeah, like no logic. This is,
but I guess in a sense, he was the referee, and whatever the referee says goes. So fuck it.
Sure, he counted them both down. But that again, this is when it comes to rules and things making sense. There's no logical sense of that. Like, you can count them out. You can count people out at a 10 count. There's no way of counting a 1, 2, 3 pinfall.
I think
when there's no
for the purpose
pinning
of this,
somebody else.
It was just Austin.
It was Austin saying screw you.
It was Austin saying screw you to Vince, basically.
Right.
That was all the purpose of this match.
It really was. Yeah. And that's what it was. It was Austin going in, in kayfabe-ness, going into business for himself.
Yeah, because he was told
not calling the match.
Going into this match, obviously Vince said to him, if you do not count a 3 count for the winner of this match, you will be fired. And that's what led to, obviously, Austin gets on the mic, tries to lure out Vince, doesn't work.
And why wasn't he already ready for it? Why did it take another 5 minutes of him running to the back?
He wanders to the back. We see Bruce Pritchard sitting there, by the way.
Yeah, we see Bruce Pritchard sitting there.
We see Owen Hart in the locker room, by the way.
Yeah, and Jerry Lawler's like, I think that was the Blue Blazer.
Yeah. Answer this question. Why the fuck didn't he just roll out of the entranceway? Why did they have to raise the screen to have Vince behind it?
They raised the screen. They put him in this. They put him in this area. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Also, I thought there were people behind that screen. Could they not see the ring all night?
Yeah, I have no idea what was going on with that. There were so many things that didn't make sense.
Big Boss Man had his dogs with him. You couldn't see them anyway, so that was pointless.
Yeah.
It was dragged out. He then fires Austin, but then what was dragged out as well, it was JR constantly going, "Oh, we're going to miss you, Austin. Oh, this is the last time we're ever going to see Austin." Every 5 seconds, he was just saying, "Oh, but this is the last time," like really milking the fact that he was gone forever,
It just seemed so unbelievable. As we'll find out as we find out literally the next night. None of that mattered. This whole storyline of him firing him literally didn't matter. He showed up the next night with fucking a truck full of guns, and
when you say it like that, it just sounds so ridiculous.
And JR's out there like trying to claim he's got a right to do that. He's a hunter. He must be out hunting. I'm like, motherfucker, you can't hunt at night. You literally cannot hunt
next to an arena
dark.
of all places.
Long story short, they spend the entire night running around the arena.
So many backstage segments.
Trying to hide from him, trying to get cops to go out and arrest him, and the cops go out and just want his autograph, and they're just looking at each other's guns.
Terrible actors, by the way.
Terrible act, terrible. And then then it leads to Austin.
The fact that Austin's got a truck full of guns, he's literally got a handgun on his waist, and the police don't even go, "Have you got a license for those?"
Everybody who's meant to be security for him just leaves him alone.
So the cop, right? The cop that was in there with the so Big Boss Man gets sent to the airport, right, to pick up his family or something, right? Fine, right? That's fine. I can get past that. The cop that was there with the dog. He was like, I'm not risking my life for you. Screw you. I'm out of here. I get it, right? Fine. I get it. Whatever. Briscoe and Pat Patterson and Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter was like, I'm going to go get a coffee. You want a coffee? And then Briscoe's like, I'm going to go with him to get a coffee. And then Pat Patterson's sitting there is like, don't worry, Vince. We got you, man. We're staying with you. He's like, but I'm going to go with them to get a coffee. Do you want a coffee? I'll bring you back a coffee. An hour later, they weren't back from getting that coffee. And all I could think of is, you've just gone like, I don't know how to get rid of these three out of the room, so they're just going to go get coffee.
Obviously, no one gives a shit about it. What they want to see is, they want to see Austin get McMahon. And, so we get get the whole angle where he rolls him out into the ring, and then he brings the pistol, and it's got the bang, Austin 316 thing, and Vince wets his pants. And so, goddamn, when people complain about too many segments and skits nowadays, I'm like,
go watch this episode.
You don't even
see how you how you do.
Go fuck yourself with that shit.
So obviously he puts a letter in Vince's pocket. That letter, by the way, was a 5-year contract and a championship match, which was signed by Shane. So that's what that was.
And that's what that was. But why did Shane have the authority to do that?
I don't know, because
I don't know.
According to the storyline, Shane had been like let go by Vince.
Shane had just been,
and he'd been demoted. So I don't know. But then I think that's where Linda McMahon gets involved, because she has co-signed on the company.
Because we start getting all sorts. Then we get all sorts of stuff. We get into the
the whole family gets involved.
The whole family gets involved. WrestleMania 2000 is the four corners McMahon in every corner thing, or whatever. But
that was at all intents and purposes, the whole Bang 316 thing was a pretty iconic moment for Raw. We all remember it.
It's just the amount of shit you had to wade through to get to it.
It's very true.
But yeah, man, it was rough. It was rough getting through. I do hope that it's entertaining to watch it back in a sense.
It was. I mean, that I did watch a majority of this show of the Raw, and I skipped through a lot of the match. I just wanted to see like where story went after that pay-per-view, and I might actually start doing that from now on. Actually, I think it's quite interesting just to see the Raw after a show to see what happened.
It certainly is.
And that's kind of why I did it. I just kind of sat there and was like, I wonder. I think one thing too. I think we kind of briefly touched on it, but going into this pay-per-view, like we had literally on the weeks running up to this, we had Undertaker and Kane breaking Vince's ankle. We had the bedpan incident. We had the Zamboni incident. We had the cement truck stuff. Like many iconic Socko. We had so many iconic things happen on the run up to this pay per view.
Yeah,
and even the Bang 316 thing is pretty iconic as well. It's just the pay per view just shat itself.
We've got. I think what we need to do is we need to start making our official rankings of these.
Yeah.
So that we can convince someone who is not us to edit some Wikipedia pages, because what I've noticed, this was I mentioned this to you, my idea here. What I noticed is that a lot of these pay-per-views have the reception section, and people from JD Dunn of 411 Mania, Kevin Panjora of 411 Mania, Paul Matthews of Classic Wrestling Review in 2022 described it as below average. And like, these are just guys that are giving their opinions, and I believe our opinions are just as, if not far more valid.
Fuck yeah.
Than anyone else's opinions.
I value my opinion.
On the matter.
I value your opinion.
I value your opinion almost as much, if not equally, to mine. As you should value, as I think you value my opinion.
Hell yeah, I do.
Almost as much equally to yours. Neither one of us values. No, I said that wrong. I value your opinion slightly more than my own opinion, but
we value each other's opinions. What we're trying to say.
We value each other's, and what we're trying to say is we value each other's opinions more than anyone else's opinions.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
And
so
you're saying we should rate this pay-per-view out of 10.
Because if we get an official rating, then we can be added into the reception section of Wikipedia pages.
I say you give your out of 10, I'll give my out of 10, and we get a medium out of that. Right?
Yeah.
And that would be the Punks Talk Wrestling rating for this pay-per-view.
And I think it's important to. I think what might be important as well is to delineate between the actual in-ring wrestling and the storylines surrounding it, because those are the two major portions of these
of any wrestling event, really.
Of anything. It is because we've noticed this before with some earlier WWE work too, is that the wrestling itself, some of the matches were great, even though the storylines were just do not hold up.
Yeah.
Contextually, the storylines were probably what they maybe wanted for shock value, but in hindsight, I have to look at things from a perspective of is it good enough that the storyline held up and is, some of the stuff could work, like the shit between Austin, McMahon, Undertaker, and Kane, that storyline kind of holds up in a sense where
it holds up, yeah.
It holds up because it's a dude mad at his boss, and it's people caught in the crossfire. It's not a storyline like the Val Venus, the infidelity storylines and the objectifying.
And plus, it was
things.
Like with Austin McMahon and Kane and Undertaker, they got the two biggest storylines and intertwined them, which is quite ahead of its time in a way as well. So
for that, I'll give it at least overall. I'll give it a 6.5.
I was going to go
6.5 out of.
I was going for
storyline.
6. Yeah,
because some of the storylines were good. Some of them were logical. Some of them were just
dumb.
Yeah, doesn't hold up over time.
Yeah.
That's the hold up. The hold up over time is really what we're.
That's
really
pretty
what we're
important, to be honest. Yeah.
As far as the matches, I'll give the matches a 7. I'd give them a 7.5, maybe even an 8, because the majority of the matches were solid.
Not
the pay-per-view, not the main event, though.
I'm going to go with a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I go for 7 for the matches, and I'll go for 6 for story. I think that's what I'm
going
a little,
for. And you know me, I'm a little as much of a dick as I can kind of be sometimes. I tend to give a little more benefit than probably should, which is So I'm totally fine with lowering the official value to your. We should take the lower of the two values, because that really shows the
as an overall for the whole show.
As an overall, between 6.5, 7 as an overall, which is barely above average. This is It's
barely above average.
Here's what I would drop it. I would drop it. Here's why I'll drop it down. Here's why I'll drop it down I'll drop it down because more important things happened on other shows
on Raw
during that time. More memorable things happened on Raw than actually happened in the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like any of this was more important than anything that happened on a Monday Night Raw. really.
Yeah, it just felt a longer. It did. It felt like a long Monday Night Raw with more matches.
Yeah.
Really.
So there it is. We're giving it a solid 6.
Solid 6.
Solid 6.
I think I'm very happy with that.
12 out of 20. If we're gonna roll a D20, there we go. We'll roll it back into the D&D. We'll roll it into the D20 because
all right, fuck it. Yeah, cool.
12 out of 20 because that just makes us look more absurd in a way.
Yeah, who rates shit out of 20?
We rate things.
We do.
Well, you know why? And also because it takes away the 0.5s and the point. Because there's always like, 5.5 out of 10. Well, you know what? That's an 11 out of 20. So there you go. We don't half anything. We just double the numbers.
There we go. So 12 out of 20 for this.
12 out of 20. Yeah, we get a 12 out of 20. That'll be our new ranking system.
There you go.
That's it, man. I think we don't have to talk about we talked about the Raw afterwards.
We talked enough about Raw. There was plenty of segments there which we could go into, but you go and watch it. October 19th, 2018. There's a segment about sausages. Go nuts.
Oh God. What do we have? What do we have left to say other than follow us on Instagram if you're not already at Punks Talk Wrestling.
That's
also,
right.
We have a Patreon at Punks Talk Wrestling, where we have the unedited episodes of all of these podcasts that go up usually a day before. And our TikTok, which I fixed the name, so it's no longer got dots. It's just Punks Talk Wrestling on TikTok, and there's some stuff up there too. Tell us if tell us if you like that format because they're kind of fun to make, and it's really the only video that we have right now because we don't do video stuff yet.
Yeah,
and I think that's. Oh, what are we doing next week? Shit, what are we doing next week?
I don't know. That's what I was just thinking of. I suppose is Deadline this coming weekend?
Is Deadline Saturday?
Oh, it is. Is this Saturday? This coming weekend?
Okay.
So
all right. Well, there we
next
go.
week we can do that, and I think the week after we can certainly do a top 10. We can figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out between now and next week to
Yeah.
do for the 19th. That works.
Yeah, perfect.
So, and that will be the official last PLE.
Yeah,
I guess they're considering this a PLE because it's not a Tuesday night.
It's it's a PLE for NXT. It's being held in an actual arena, so it's not
right.
It's not just a throwaway thing. So yeah, I consider it a PLE.
It certainly is premium, and it certainly is live.
And it's certainly an event. Yeah.
So it checks off every single one of those 3. I think that's it then.
I think that's it. There we go. I'm recording now.
All right. Jackie, there's got to be a better way.
Oh, Jesus. You hear that feedback? Jeez.